feel this morning, and that is what we are going to be moving into. Good morning, everyone, and today is the 10th day of the month of July, and I hope we are all doing well. Hope we are all enjoying the weather. I almost thought today was a Saturday, but today is actually a Friday, and we are doing very well. So today we are going to be continuing in our study in the book of Proverbs, and going in our series that we called Wisdom for Life, anchored in God's presence. Wisdom for life, anchored in God's presence. And today's theme or sub-theme for today is the way of wisdom. Two contrasting parts. We're looking at two different parts today, the way of wisdom. We're looking at two parts, and it's going to be very exciting because we're going to be looking at chapter 9 today. Chapter 9 of the book of Proverbs today. And this is the invitation of wisdom and folly. I call it the invitation of wisdom and folly. And in today's class, we're going to be hearing two women speak. We'll be hearing only one woman speak. And today we're going to be listening to the second speaker. The second speaker of our wisdom series today. And she's also a woman. So we're going to call the first one Lady Wisdom, because that's what we've been calling her all along. The first woman is Lady Wisdom, and the second woman is Dame Folly. Okay, the same title. You are a dame or you are a lady. So one is Lady Wisdom, and the other one is Dame Folly. So let us listen, and we're going to hear the first speak. We're going to hear the second speak. Then we're going to try to juice out the lessons from the speeches or the call of these two women. I've been reading Proverbs Chapter 9, verse 1. Wisdom has built her house. As I start, wisdom has built her house. She has set up its 7 pillars. She has prepared her meat and mixed her wine. She has also set her table. She has sent out her servants, and she calls from the highest point of the city. What is she saying? Verse 4 says, "Let all who are simple come to my house." Let all who are simple come to my house. Remember the other call of the woman we read that goes around calling young men simple people? This time around, Lady Wisdom is also crying out, let all who are simple. And you see this parallelism come to play. I taught you about what they call it again, about some of these figures of speech, figures of speech where a word takes on a human form. Okay, and now we also taught you about not having rhymes but having repetition, and that is how. Excuse me, my alarm just keeps going off. So and now we're going to look at also parallelism, repeating the same word, even in another way. He said, "Let all who are simple," remember the simple, "let them come to my house." Then repeat again, "to those who have no sense," she says. So it's the same person. The simple is somebody who lacks sense, who lacks common sense. To those who have no sense, she said, "Come, eat my food and drink the wine." Excuse me, I need to do something about my alarm. It just keeps going off. And let them come, eat my food and drink the wine I have mixed. Okay, the wine I have mixed. Live your simple ways and you will live. Walk in the way of insight. You see, the first call that we read about in chapters 5 and 7, young men are called to be deceived people who are simple. But in this time around, he's calling them to become wise. Excuse me again. I don't know. My alarm is going crazy this morning. Just give me a second. So he's calling out to everyone who lacks common sense, who is not wise, to come and learn. And that is what we are doing today, calling everyone to come learn from us. Come and learn from us. Come and become wise. That is what the Lady Wisdom is saying. He said, whoever corrects a mocker, you find that, that word before. When you mock, you become mocker. Whoever corrects a mocker, when you mock, you ridicule, or you disdain, something, or you are a scoffer, or you make caricature. Somebody who is not, I'm looking for another word. So somebody who rubbishes things that are supposed to be wise, you are a mocker. So he said, whoever corrects a mocker invites insults. Whoever rebukes the wicked incurs abuse. So the mocker is also compared to the wicked. That's the comparison there. He said, do not rebuke mockers, or they will hate you. Rebuke the wise, and they will love you. Instruct the wise, and they will be wiser still. Teach the righteous, and they will add to their learning. And it takes us back to chapter 1. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. So this is what Lady Wisdom is saying. It talks about saying, if you are simple, if you are this, come and learn from me. And of course, people who are simple, they will just make rubbish of anything. He said, if you rebuke a mocker, they will hate you. But if you rebuke the wise will love you. So you can see, it is the way, it is not the fault of wisdom, but it is our fault. We who react or we respond to wisdom. You can either react or you can respond. In verse 11, it says, for through wisdom, your days will be many, and years will be added to your life. If you are wise, your wisdom will reward you. If you are a mocker, you alone will suffer. So from verse 1 to 12, we hear Lady Wisdom speak. And we're going to circle back to come and let's break all those things down. But before we begin to break them down, let us hear the other woman. Let us hear Dame Folly speak. And that is from verse 13. Folly is an unruly woman. That's how she's, introduced to us. In verse 1, it says, wisdom has built her house. Think about it. Wisdom has built her house. She has set up its pillars. She has prepared meat mixed with wine. She has set her table. She sent out. So you can see, wisdom seems to be a bit organized, right? But when we come to Folly, look at how Folly is introduced. Folly is an unruly woman. She is simple. Doesn't use her brain, and knows nothing. She is simple and knows nothing. The Bible says, verse 1, it says she sits at the door of her house on a seat at the highest point of the city, just like Lady Wisdom. Look at what she's saying. In verse 15, it says, calling out to those who pass by, who go straight to their way. Let all, the same call, let all who are simple come to my house. To those who have no sense, she says. Now, this is where the challenge now comes. Remember what Lady Wisdom is saying to those who are simple, and to also those who are wise. But he said to those who are simple, look at what it tells them in verse 17. It says, stolen food or stolen water is sweet. Stolen water is sweet. Food eaten in secret is delicious. But little do they know that the dead are there. Where they are going to die. That her guests are deep in the realm of the dead. So what's the difference between these two women here? So as we reach this is actually, today is I'll call it this is the last sermon, or the last dramatic, the summation. I'm looking for big words to make it sound very, very good. Of this parental discourse, this father-son discourse. By tomorrow, we're going to be hearing, another style. But this is the last, chapter in this parental, discourse. In this place, we'll find ourselves standing at this stark, absolute crossroad. Remember the book of Jeremiah that says, go and stand at the crossroad and ask where the old path is. So today, this is the crossroad. Before we'll be hearing from only one. Today, we are hearing both. We are bringing the two together. So even as we begin to bring this ultimate, architectural conflicts together, this is what goes on in our soul. So this is not just a woman that is calling. The Bible started telling us this is what goes through all our mind. Anytime you want to take decision, Lady Wisdom is calling you to do this, but Lady Folly is also asking you to do something else. And the question is, what will you do? That is the battle that happens in my heart, the battle that happens in your heart, the battle that happens in everybody's hearts. Every time we want to do good, like even Paul says, there's always evil. So this is the conversation that happens in our heart. So this chapter we're looking at, does not allow for any, how you say, oh, I won't make a decision, I'm neither here nor there. There's no lukewarm neutrality here. There's no, what they call in those days, in military terms, they call it no demilitarized zone. Because everywhere is a battlefront. There's no demilitarized zone. You cannot go and be sitting on the fence. This forces everybody, every leader here, every disciple here, everybody who is trying to rebuild one thing or the other, to choose which blueprint that are going to govern their future. You cannot say, oh, I'm neither here nor there. You have to make a decision. So when we look at this architecture, remember talking about architecture, building, I've used architectural language, I've used business language, just to bring everything up. This is a banquet. Come and eat. This is a banquet of two destiny. You know how they sing. Again, I'm reminded of some of the songs that was sing in those days about Igioro. When they sing Emagbe Igioro, Nitori Eyola, don't plant these bitter roots, these poisonous roots, because whatever you plant, your children will eat out of it. You eat out of it. But people see that as a curse. It's not a curse. It's not a curse. It is actually the normal thing in life. It is the normal, whatever you sow, you will reap. So Proverbs Chapter 9 is structured as this poetic layout. We are seeing these two competing invitations. Oh, you come to me. Another one say, come to me. Which one will you obey? Are you going to be obeying Lady Wisdom or Folly? Now, let me go further, scroll back to what I did this slap up the top because it freezes, right? Let me just go. Okay. All right. I think I'm back. Let me scroll back and look at in verse 1. He said, wisdom has built her house. She has set her table, her pillars. And we're going to be talking about what those pillars are. What's a pillar? A pillar is a support. You build it, how to put a pillar. So she has built this magnificent, it's a permanent structure. I will talk to you about the number 7 also, when I get to my further, analysis. So she has built her house, food, she had ordered it, mixed her wine, she has set her table, then she sends out her maidens to go and invite everyone. That sounds like what Jesus Christ said also. Come to my house, come on, the feast is ready. Okay, come and he said, go and call the simple, the open-minded. Come and tell them to come, to step up into this higher discernment. I want to teach you wisdom. I want to teach you understand discernment. You might say, oh, I want to teach you something, to be able to think, to be able to reason. Her invitation requires you to prepare. It requires, some form of maturity. It required a structured alignment because she's very structured. Wisdom is structured. She's not scattered. Now, let us go to her is it opponent? I'll call her now. The other side, the other woman. This is Dame Folly. Conversely, if you look at something, she also sits at her door. She sits at her door of her house, and she sits at the highest place of the city, and she's yelling out for passerby. For verse 13 and 14, we will read everything within there. She builds nothing. She doesn't build anything. The Bible says she didn't build anything. What she offered is an effortless, immediate shortcut. What did she say? It says stolen water is sweet, and food that is eaten in secret is pleasant, delicious. So the next peel, because we are peeling them right now, looking at them, the next peel back is now the veil of their location. Look at where they are. Wisdom's house is an incubator of destiny. But the Father wants that those who step into Folly's house do not realize that they are going to die. You will die if you continue in the foolishness of your life. The Bible says the dead are there, and her guests are a depth of hell. People who go there go to their grave, and the Father is warning. The same Father that was at his door, that was looking at his window, that was observing what people are doing, observing the simple people, and now wisdom has called. Now Folly is also calling. There are three things I believe that we can learn, from this story. Number one, very simple. When I say simple again, I don't mean not having your sense, right? Because right now simple has another meaning to all of us. Number one, wisdom leads you to life. Wisdom leads you to life. Folly will lead you to your death. So the absolute, what I'll call the absolute baseline of this chapter, that we're reading right now, is the ultimate choice. You have to make a choice. You have to make a choice daily that you make. Your daily choices. What we normally say in counseling? We'll say we accept by rejecting, and we reject by accepting. You can't say, oh, I don't accept, I don't reject. If you accept, then you reject it. If you reject something, that means I've said something. You cannot stand in place. So wisdom issues a direct command to everyone. In verse 6 here, it said, forsake foolishness. Leave your foolishness away. Leave your simple life away and go the way of understanding. Live your simple life, your senseless life. Those things, go in the way of understanding. Say every decision that you make in your career, every decision that you make in your finances, every decision that you make in your speech, in your family relationship, they are not neutral decisions. It's actually a seed. Whenever I make a decision, I'm planting a seed. It's a seed that I plant in one of those two parts. It's either you are planting to wisdom or you are planting to foolishness. Every decision that I make, they can either be wise decision, or they can be foolish decision. You can be nurturing the garden of wisdom, or you can be nurturing the garden of foolishness. So for us today, choosing the way of wisdom for all of us is for all of us to build structural endurance, to be able to build some mental clarity, to be able to build some spiritual vitality that will lead you directly to sustain life. Each time you choose wisdom, it's like going to the gym. It's like exercising. It's like cleaning your surrounding. It's like living a healthier life. It's like eating well. It's like you are actually sustaining your health for the time that you are going to be using it, or you're going to be needing that help. But each time we go the foolish way, we are digging our grave. So whenever we yield to foolishness, whenever we chase shortcuts rather than doing things right, we want to do the shortcut instead of you're looking for instant gratification. Let me just get the need, the gain now. But you don't want to care about how you get that gain. When you live an unaligned compromise, your life is always unaligned. Okay, when you live that life, I can tell you from experience, it can actually be sweet. When you throw discipline away, when you throw caution to the wind, when you live a careless life, it can be sweet. But that sweetness just in a short term. But systematically, gradually, it begins to kill your relationships. A little light today, a little light tomorrow, a little breaking of your promise today, a little whatever. It begins to drain your economic capital that you have. People will not trust you anymore, and eventually it will lead you straight to the destiny of death. You are going to lose reputation amongst the wise. No, not among the foolish. You're going to lose reputation among the wise. You're going to lose reputation at work. Anytime you cut corners, anytime you promise to do something, you don't do it. Anytime you are found where not to be found, it begins to erode. So today, I want us to just pause. And I want us to affirm, to be able to do the right thing. I want you to affirm with me that today, the 10th day of July, I resolve to recognize that my daily choices, what I do every day, building a clear path for me. And today, I will intentionally choose the way of wisdom. And that way is what guarantees life. It guarantees multiplication. You have to tell yourself that. You have to begin to say it in your subconscious mind that today, I choose to build a path that is clear. I will begin to intentionally choose the way of wisdom, which guarantees life. And you're going to say it in the present tense. It will help you. It will help your orientation. When you begin to think that way, it begins to help your orientation. But let us pause for a second. I want you to ask yourself, when you look back, or if you look back at the trajectory of your life, the way your life is going, and when you look back at, let's say, 3 most frequent daily habits that you have. Think of 3 daily habits that you have. Those habits, are they leading you towards life of wisdom, towards that life of 7 pillars? Or are they sliding you towards the depths of folly? What 3 habits? Look at your frequent habits that you do. Things you do regularly. Just think of 3. If you continue that way, would they lead you to that security of 7 pillars? Or are they going to gradually slide you? It could be things you do with your finances. It could be things you do with your relationships. It could be things you do with your family. It could be things you do with your health. It could be things you do with your communication. It could be things you do with your job. So look at it. What are the frequent things you do every single day? While we are thinking about that, let me talk about those 7 pillars that sustains our legacy. Now, when I was reading it, I was looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, if you're looking for 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, you will not be able to count up to 7. But if you know how the Jews write, you will know that number 7 is the number of completeness. Okay, so wisdom, doesn't just throw together some temporary shack like some what they call bacha. Wisdom doesn't build a bacha. She goes to go and craft out pillars. In those days, they don't use cement like what they actually hewn it from rock. All the pillars, all the limestone or whatever, the marble, they go and cut them. They hewn all those pillars. So in numerology, when you talk about 7, 7, you know what goes? 7 is a number. Okay, that is the complete one. Now if you are playing poker, gamble, and you have 7, they call it adashi. Adashi. That's what Peter was talking about. Adashi, adashi. So that's what they call it. When you have 7, that is like a killer. Okay, so 7 represents perfection. 7 represents completeness. 7 represents a divine order. Of course, when I was teaching Revelation, we made a lot of references to that one. So this teaches us, it teaches me, it should teach every leader that I see that and anybody that is consulting, that is discipling, that is counseling, that whatever, anything that's built to last life. You want to build a life that will last. This built to last, that's what we're talking about here. It requires some solid, comprehensive structure. Not just a shack that breeze will come and blow. Remember what just got talking about? Anybody who hears my word, put to practice, it's like somebody who's building on a solid foundation. It's called a bedrock. When you drill, you hit a bedrock, you cannot build. So down my neighborhood, if you go to Mende, you'll see so many houses that is bent this way or bent that way because they built on mud. They didn't drill down to hit the bedrock. They built on mud, and gradually it begins to tilt, or the house begins to sink. So you cannot build a masterpiece legacy for your life. You cannot on just one single pillar. You see, even the one I do, you see that they will bring all those drill, and they will drill. You think they are looking for a ball, they are boring hole for water. They are drilling. When they hit that solid rock, they will know. And that's why they now begin to put not one pillar, they'll put several pillars. So it is not one single pillar of technical skill that will get to where you're going. If you put just one pillar for technical skill, but you now have pillars of immoral, whatever, it's not going to work. It must be technical skill. It must be moral integrity. It must be emotional discipline. It must be family alignment. They are all together. But if those your pillars that you put together are broken, how will that house stand? So true wisdom, builds a balanced. It builds a complete. It builds a good framework that will withstand any economic, or systematic storm. Jesus Christ said, "Listen, whether you are the wise or the foolish, you build another person, builds your house. You can have the same color of house. You can have the same design of the house. You can have whatever, but it is the foundation that you build that really matter. And for every builder, every human being, there is nothing that happens to you that is unique to you. The Bible says no temptation has seized you, apart from what is common to man. The rain will fall. Just God tells us. The wind will blow. The water will rise. These are called natural phenomena. You don't have control over it. Temptation is a common lot of man. But who withstands? Not everybody, whether the wise, but your ability to stand depends on the foundation that you have built your life. So let us pause again. Let's take all of these things in. The 7 pillars. Think about the foundation you built your life in. And as you think about all this, I want you to resolve. I want you to compress all we've learned right now. I want you to affirm it and tell yourself, I resolve to inspect the pillars of my life. I resolve to inspect the pillars of my life. I will allow the Holy Spirit to reinforce my character, to reinforce my competence, to reinforce my commitment according to the divine order. So inspect your life. On what foundation is your life built on? Which specific pillar in your life to today? The pillar of integrity, financial stewardship, relational boundaries. Which of these pillars currently requires urgent repair, or maybe it needs deeper reinforcements? Ask yourself. If you see that it is bending, then something is wrong. Do you need to reinforce it today? Your integrity, your stewardship, your relational boundaries. Are there boundaries that are too weak that you need to strengthen? Where you don't even know when to stop and when to start. Where people can come in and go out. Where the wrong people are coming in because they are your friends and you don't know how to tell them because they're your co-workers, or because they are your client, or because it's your boss, whatever. I know what they are doing or what they are explaining to you is wrong. And you don't know what to say, and you align it gradually. You align it gradually. Your pillars are getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And the Bible says when it comes falling down, you will suffer a loss. Finally, let's look at the what I will call the multiplier effects. Remember, everything we do today is a setup for tomorrow. So this Bible says it will add years to your life, to the purpose. Solomon highlighted this long-term dividend, and I love long-term dividend. When you put your money in an investment, the first thing it will just yield like a normal something, then it yield. You see, when it's yielding again, it is not yielding on the last deposit. It's called compounded interest. The interest you get, so if 10% of 100 is 10, all right, 10% of 100, 8% of 110 will be more than 10% of that one. So it's called compounded interest. So as you build, this thing becomes, he said, for by me, the Bible says in verse 11, he said, for by me, your days will be multiplied, and the years of your life will added to you. There will be dividend in this plan, that I have this life you are living. If you continue the way you are going, what will it yield tomorrow? What are the regrets that you have now? So somebody says that regrets is defined as events which never happen. So think about your life. What are those events you wish never happened? Because when you were doing those things, you're not doing that with wisdom. You're not doing that with the understanding. You are being foolish. So everything adds up. Whatever you do, especially for a lot of us that are getting older now, you find many things that you've done in the past, they will come back to haunt you. Either in your health, either in your finances, those things will definitely come back to haunt you. It is just the simple law of life. So because we know this, we know the multiply effects, we're going to live a better life. So for all of us, operating in wisdom creates an optimized effect. Okay, it's like you optimizing your car. You go and fine-tune it, you make it stronger, you reinforce it. It saves you from any unnecessary crisis that you're going to have. It saves you from any legal entanglement, any emotional trauma. All those things are things that wear the human health out. They will shorten your professional longevity. When you keep cutting corners in your job, you will not last in that job. So when you walk in the fear of the Lord, the Bible reminds us again that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. When you walk in the fear of the Lord, what you are doing is that you are reinforcing that good thing that you're already doing. When you walk in the fear of the Lord, you are insulating yourself. It's like right now, the weather is kind of cold, so I'm wearing something. So I'm insulated, from any. Now looking at it in human sense, from any self-inflicted wound of the foolish. So any cold that will come and hit me, I'm already insulated. I can't stop the cold, but I can decide what I'm going to wear. Like they said, we cannot control the wind, but at least we can set our sail and use the same wind to get to where we are going. So this one will allow you to fully maximize the matrix of your assignments here on earth. Personally, I know why I'm here. I know my destiny, why God has brought me here. And for many people live and die without knowing why they are here. So if you are going to get to where God wants you to be, if you're going to live out, then you cannot continue in that foolish life. You cannot continue to throw caution to the wind. So today, join me in affirming that today, the 10th day of July, I resolve to anchor my mind in wisdom. I resolve to anchor my mind in wisdom, fully expecting that my health, my career, my spiritual outputs, my career trajectory, my career velocity, you can add anything you want to add. All these things will be multiplied across my lifespan. God will take it through me. It will follow me in everything that I do. Today's call to action is for all of us to choose just one wise action today. Just choose one wise action. Remember the law of Kaizen. It's not just doing 20, 30, 40. Just take 1%. Be 1% better. Just choose one wise action today. Don't allow our session today to just fade into some passive agreement. Okay, I'll do it. Machine. I want to just choose one. Dame Folly will win when you delay. I want you to identify one concrete, one wise decision that you have been putting off, today. You know what that decision is. I know what that decision is. So whether it's finalizing an honest contract you need to do, initiating a difficult but very necessary boundary conversation with somebody, you to have that talk with that person, but you are kind of dodging it because it's difficult for you. We don't want to. Whenever we procrastinate, what we do is that we are choosing our hard, or rather our heart, like the Americans would say, our heart, because there's an R there, right? Somebody taught me, and I shared it some maybe days or a week ago. He said, Emmanuel, we need to learn to choose our heart. Everything is hard, but which heart will you choose? Will you choose the hard heart, or will you choose the easy heart? Many times we choose the easy heart to just go and watch television, Joe, rather than redo your assignment. Or let me just go whatever there, because that is easy. You see, listen, there is a hard and there's a hard. Dishing your food is hard, right? Washing the plate after it is harder. That's hard. So which one will you choose? Are you going to choose that whenever I finish eating, I'm going to wash up my plate immediately? And that will prevent someone say, what happened? No, the sink is full. I mean, it happened in my house. I didn't eat one. No, see, when you don't do what you're supposed to do, it piles up. You are going to organize your chaotic financial record that you have. It could be dedicating a specific, just 1 hour to study, to read your Bible, to think, to journal, things like. I want you to execute that single choice today. Okay, and do it with exact high excellence, the way Lady Wisdom would do it. And when you do it, you are going to begin to declare your loyalty to the path of life, that I have chosen life. I'm not going to choose fully. Foolishness says take a shortcut, a little sleep, a little slumber. We're going to get to those ones very soon. A little sleep, a little fold of your hand. Then scarcity will catch you like a bandit. Poverty, it's as if they kidnap you. You will not know where it's coming from. You say, this guy was doing well yesterday. It will hit you. So today, that's where I would like to stop. We have I don't know how many times we have been, about like 10, 11 minutes, 12 minutes, I don't know. What has God been telling you even as this class was going on? What is going through your mind? What has gone through your mind